Hey guys, welcome back to another video of the Twilight Wars browser app series. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the latest update 1.17, and first I'm just going to take a glance over the new game components and features. Then we'll be jumping into a demo to see how these things work. So we have two new game components that will only be available to games that start as of the update when it goes live. And I believe they are Codex action cards. So they're called Blitz and Disable. And what we'll see is that these two cards apply to a completely new timing window. And that's going to be at the start of I believe, an invasion or before an invasion. I forget the exact wording, but we'll see when we jump into the game. Now, the good thing about these timing windows is that they don't interrupt the flow of the game if the active player chooses not to do anything. So it's very much like when a player is asked to perform an ability before production. So if you before you do production for Warfare Secondary, if you just pass on that timing window, the game flow will be maintained, and we'll see that the same thing happens here. But of course, if you do play these action cards, then we'll get an open round for sabotages and whatnot. As far as new features go, we've added in a bit of safeguarding to some of the timing windows in terms of passing and eliminating any confusion with when you do things like choosing to move no units or commit no ground forces. So what do I mean by that? Well, before this update, when you chose to move ships, or rather chose to move no ships, you would do this through the green check mark no matter what. And this could be problematic for a number of reasons, but in the end, it just makes more sense to have a pass button to move no ships. And the other place where we do this is to commit no ground forces. So these will also show up in the game logs now when a player chooses to do neither of these actions. And we'll show that in the demo as well. But the goal here is to eliminate any pain points experienced by our players when they accidentally move no ships or commit no ground forces, which can really suck, especially when you get to that point in the game when there's no undo available. There's also some bug fixes, but I won't be going over those. So if you are interested, feel free to read those and get acquainted with them. But let's go ahead and jump into our game, our demonstration game, and see how all these new features work. So we're playing as the red player. I'm playing as Alice as the L1Z1X minenet here. And you'll notice that we have a lot of ships in the Jolnar home system and some infantry that are going to aid in our demonstration here. So the first thing I'm going to do is just activate the Jolnar system and just pass on the ability around here. And we'll also get Bob to pass. So now here's the first thing you'll notice is the pass button now shows up down here right when you're choosing to move units. So before, what would happen is if you chose to move no units, just click the green check mark, you would get a confirm message here. But now to prevent any accidents from happening, the game will tell you that you've chosen no units, and that you should instead go click the pass button if you don't want to move any ships, right? The rest of the interface is left unchanged. You still select units and reset and confirm the same way. But since we already have all these ships here, we could just click the pass button, and now we'll be asked to confirm that we're passing and moving any ships. And then in the game log, you can see that indeed we see that Alice did not move any units there to the active system. Now let's get Bob to just pass on his space cannon offense. And now we'll see in the turn display that we're being asked to resolve an ability at the start of an invasion. So this is the new timing window I alluded to back in the updates screen. And if we click pass here, no time lost. We don't have to wait for all the other players to pass because nothing was done. So this won't interrupt older versions of the game because there are no action cards for them that this timing window applies to. But you could just really quickly click pass here, and then you'll just go straight to the normal flow of committing your ground forces. So let's look at our two new action cards here. The first I'm going to look at is disable. So disable reads that at the start of an invasion in a system that contains one or more of your opponent's PDSs, your opponent's PDS units will lose the planetary shield and space cannon during this invasion. So the Jolnar home system has PDSs on both of the planets, as you can see here, and we don't have a War Sun. So right now our Dreadnought can't bombard anything, but when we get this card to go through, we'll be able to use our Dreadnought to bombard these two planets. So let's go ahead play disable and get the other players to pass on this ability round and not sabotage it. So now we're still at the start of an invasion because the game has come back to us, and we have the second card that can apply to this timing window, which is Blitz. So Blitz is an interesting card. At the start of an invasion, each of our non-fighter ships in the active system that do not have bombardment gain the bombardment 6 until the end of the invasion. And we have a carrier in here, right? So our carrier will be able to use bombardment if we wanted to. So let's go ahead and activate Blitz, and again get the other players to pass. And finally, let's pass because we're satisfied that our two action cards have gone through. And now we're being asked to perform our bombardment abilities. Now normally, the game would automatically skip us here because of the PDSs and no War Suns. But now we have this capability here. And in fact, before, like for example, if you try to click your infantry, right, it's not a valid bombardment unit, nor is the fighter. But now we click the carrier, and because of our Blitz action card, we can click the planet we want to bombard our carrier with. So looking at this guy's system, he's got 2 infantry there, and no infantry there. So maybe we want to try to bombard Nar with our carrier and our Dreadnought. And now we'll confirm this. And we got 1 hit. All right. So in the game log now, if we look at our roll summary, we'll actually see here that the carrier has the Blitz modifier. And of course, since we selected it first, which was probably a misplay on our part because it has bombardment 6, whereas the Dreadnought has bombardment 5. But since we selected it first from bombardment, it got the plasma scoring. But the Dreadnought hit. So we've taken out one of those units, right? And so that's those are the 2 action cards that can apply before you commit ground forces, and happens before bombard as well, right? Now the interesting thing is that I don't know if we'll get a chance to see this happen, but the L1Z1X Minet can bombard throughout the combat as long as it progresses, and Blitz actually will continue to apply throughout the combat as well as disable. And so our Hero ability, if needed, will use the carrier, and of course we'll be able to bombard because the PDS has been disabled, right? So we'll see. Let's try and see if it works. So I'll commit 1 to the planet we want to fight on. So try not to kill him. Hopefully 3 to the other planet. Oh, before I do that, you can now see that the pass button is here as well, right? So if we reset our choices here, click confirm, with no ground forces selected, we'll be directed to the pass button. But we won't want to do that here. We will actually want to commit. So let's do that. Now we can begin the ground combat on Nar. So resolve the start. We don't want to do that. So what I'm hoping for here is that no one hits on these rolls. And we hit, so that sucks. But anyways, that would have just been icing on the cake. But so that's, yeah, that's those are the 2 new action cards and the new timing window that goes with it. And that's about it for the update. Yeah, so again, as usual with new components, and by new components I mean like cards and whatnot, factions, these will only be available to new games that are started with update 1.17. Otherwise you won't be able to see Blitzer disable. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. As usual, if you want to stay up to the latest content as it comes live, I recommend you subscribe to our YouTube channel. As well, join our Discord where you can provide feedback, where changes like these are a direct result of feedback from players in our Discord. Otherwise, that's going to do it for update 1.17, and enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video.